research in the area of mythology, primarily history and mythology, and attendant areas of study. I mean, cosmic kinds of research of way people try to deal with the issues of why we're here, and those are the basic questions that mythological problems. Mythology is usually a way of dealing with issues, human relations, larger cosmic issues. It's a way of explaining them to younger people. It's a way one generation pass on the larger meaning of life to the younger generation in a metaphor form. And you sort of look at our society, and we're not doing that. So we're not passing on the values that we have to our younger generation. And eventually, if you stop passing on the values, they disappear, and you have anarchy. So I said, this other side of my life was saying, well, our society has got some problems, and it needs to have this continuity, which has existed pretty much throughout history. And we seem to have let it slip by here. Because, I say, up until the Western pretty much survived through the 50s. And then it kind of went away, and reality took over. And reality isn't based in what things ought to be or the kinds of values that we want to pass on. It's based in reality, the way people actually react, which is usually the crummier side of life. And I think there's value in that in the film world and in storytelling, but this other side was getting short-shifted. And that's really was the motivating factor behind all this. I was looking for somebody who was young. The character's, 19, 20 years old. So I needed somebody that looked young, but still had a lot of authority. Really was a strong individual. That's primarily what I was looking for. It had a kind of strength that was just there. And she didn't have to act it. She could hold her own with these other characters. It was a difficult challenge when I was writing it because when I was first formulating the whole story, I really wanted to do a story that had a strong female lead, but I was basically doing a war movie. So, it's hard to in a traditional sense, fit, a female warrior into that. That's one of the reasons I sort of went to Kurosawa and went to things like Hidden Fortress and stuff, where I was able to find characters who were in war settings, female characters who were in war settings, who were still feminine but still had carried a lot of power with them. As anybody does with success, and myself included, you go through a whole personal drama coming to terms with that kind of thing. And I think they became more confident as actors, and they began to enjoy it more. They relaxed a lot more on the subsequent movies than they were on the first one. The first one, everybody was pretty confused about. They just, what's this guy doing? I don't know, and they had no idea how it was going to work or anything. No, because I was just continuing to tell a story. I've never felt really a need to top myself, because I'm not really out to say I'm going to make a better movie than I did last time. I was really, I can do things now that I couldn't do before. Before I had a very, very tight schedule, a very, very tight budget, and as I say, I was developing things where now I had characters I sort of understood a lot better. It was much easier to write it and put it together. So, and the technical means for me to do it was better. So it actually was more fun in a way, because a lot of the frustration I had in the very first one, a little of it went away on the second one, and a little bit went away on the third one. I've waited long enough to where the technology is available, so there won't be as much of the kind of frustrations I had before on the ones I'm doing now. Well, the special edition is, when I did the original film, there were certain things that we didn't really have time to do, or the money or the resources to do. And I had shot the sequences, and I wanted them to be in the movie, but it wasn't possible to put them in there. So I had always wanted to put all this stuff back in the movie, and I finally just said, let's do it. And we were approaching almost 20 years of the film coming out. And I figured I just wanted to go through, fix all the things that that I'd always wanted to fix, that I'd never gotten around to. There's animals in there that are big rubber things that don't move, and I wanted them to actually move. And the scene with Jabba the Hutt and some of the spaceships in the end battle, that the shots weren't as good as I'd hoped they would be. So it's a way of sort of finishing everything off and having it be more or less what I wanted it to be in the first place.